Hello brothers, today I bring you an Australian horror thriller, Bloodthirsty Rat. The story begins with a case of urinating and defecating in public. In the forest of the small town of Iron Cage, Australia, two workers who had just left the pub were relieving themselves by the roadside. However, as soon as the man untied his belt, he heard a noise from the bushes beside him. The man was about to look out, but a dark shadow suddenly jumped out of the bushes and shouted twice and a half. The two workers who urinated and defecated in public died inexplicably on the spot. The female police officer Xiao Mei, who received the alarm, rushed to the scene as soon as possible. Looking at the two workers who died tragically, she suspected that there was a bear in the forest, because only bears could have such terrible destructive power. But Xiao Mei clearly remembered that there were no bears nearby. However, from the scratches on the workers' bodies, it was indeed wild beasts that attacked them. Could it be a pack of wolves? Just as Xiao Mei was guessing what kind of wild beast it was, Hunter Pete came over and saw that a few days ago when Pete went into the mountains to hunt, he had encountered a strange kangaroo. The kangaroo was 2 meters tall and had 8 abdominal muscles. Fortunately, Pete had a gun in his hand at the time, and he fired several shots. Peter went to the police station to report the incident, but Xiao Mei didn't believe it at all. She thought Peter was drunk. How could a kangaroo grow to 2 meters tall and have 8 abdominal muscles? Although she thought Peter's statement was a bit ridiculous, Xiao Mei still kept it in mind. She asked her assistant to take the workers who were scattered all over the place back to the police station and posted a reminder of wild animals nearby. However, before Xiao Mei could investigate, another murder happened in the town. In the evening, a good young man named Xiao Ji was jogging at night. As soon as he entered the forest, Xiao Ji heard strange breathing sounds coming from the bushes. He looked out and found something moving quickly in the bushes not far away. The inexplicable scene made Xiao Ji a little upset. He hurriedly turned around and wanted to leave, but as soon as he turned around, a 2-meter-tall kangaroo appeared in front of him. It kicked its legs and the unlucky Xiao Ji died. After receiving the alarm, Xiao Mei rushed to the forest as soon as possible. Looking at Xiao Jie, who was scattered all over the place, Xiao Mei realized the seriousness of the situation. She immediately set up a cordon at the entrance to the mountain and did not allow anyone to go up the mountain. Then she found Pete again to ask for details about the kangaroo. From old Pete, Xiao Mei learned that the kangaroos in the forest were very different from the other kangaroos they had seen. The kangaroos were not only taller but also stronger. The most outrageous thing was that the kangaroo's eyes were white, as if they had been modified by humans. Xiao Mei was a little scared after hearing Pete's description. Although she didn't know whether old Pete was bragging or not, Xiao Mei did not take it lightly this time. The next morning, she issued a hunting notice in the town, calling on all the men in the town to go into the mountains to look for the kangaroo. After receiving the notice, old Pete, the male leader, and several young men joined the team. Everything was ready. The group drove to the mountains. Xiao Mei divided the team into 2 groups. She and Pete and others went to the camping area, while the male leader took the workers to search the mountain. Before they parted, the 2 sides agreed that whoever found the kangaroo first would fire a flare. After half a day of bumpy ride, Xiao Mei and others soon arrived at the camping spot. However, as soon as they came in, they saw a horrifying scene. There was actually a tent in the forest, and the tent was covered with the bloodstains clearly showed that the tourist who came to camp had been brutally killed. However, the 2 groups of people searched the forest for a long time, but found no trace of the kangaroo. Just when the male leader thought the kangaroo had hidden, a worker found a dead cow on the grass nearby. The cow's abdomen was bitten open, and the internal organs were nowhere to be seen. Looking at the horrific wound, the male leader felt that the kangaroo was a little scary and planned to meet up with Xiao Mei first and wait until tomorrow to search in the mountains. However, just as they were about to evacuate, a strange noise came from the forest behind them. The 2 workers walked carefully towards the forest. Who knew that when they turned around, one of the workers saw a kangaroo appeared in front of him. When they heard the workers scream, they looked back and saw that the kangaroo was biting the injured worker. Seeing this scene, they hurriedly opened fire. However, the bullet clearly hit the kangaroo, but the kangaroo jumped up as if nothing had happened. With a flash, the unlucky worker was kicked away. Looking at the horrible kangaroo, the male leader had long lost his initial domineering attitude. He left the worker and turned around to run, fearing that the kangaroo would target him. When he returned to the car, the male leader hurriedly started the car and stepped on the gas. The car drove down the mountain quickly. Seeing that the kangaroo did not catch up, the male leader sighed deeply. However, just when he thought he was safe, the kangaroo suddenly jumped out from the side of the road. The kangaroo used a move of falling from the sky to overturn the car and directly smash the windshield. Xiao Mei, who heard the gunshot, also rushed over at the first time. However, when they arrived at the scene, there was only a sideways rollover, and the unlucky male leader was also killed by the kangaroo. Looking at the tragic death of the male leader, Xiao Mei also realized the horror of the kangaroo. She asked Pete and Sister Jin to get in the car quickly and go down the mountain first. They were no match for the kangaroo. However, just as everyone got back to the car, the kangaroo appeared again. The terrifying kangaroo stuck its head into the back seat and tried to kill Pete. Fortunately, Pete reacted quickly and blocked the kangaroo with his shotgun. Xiao Mei, who was standing next to him, took the opportunity to pull out her pistol and shot the kangaroo in the head. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Xiao Mei stepped on the accelerator and did a tailspin, trying to hit the kangaroo to death. But the kangaroo actually dodged. She just jumped to the side and avoided Xiao Mei's car. The unlucky Xiao Mei accidentally hit. They drove into the woods. Fortunately, the car was not going fast, and the front of the car only hit a big tree. When Xiao Mei got out of the car to check, she found that the kangaroo had already run away. She speculated that the kangaroo might have been injured, so it left on its own initiative. Pete remembered that there was a van at her hunting lodge. They could drive the van down the mountain. The three of them approached the lodge carefully. Maybe the kangaroo was too badly injured by Xiao Mei, so it didn't appear again. They soon arrived at the lodge. Sister Jin used the lodge's radio to tell the store employees about the kangaroos in the mountains. She asked the employees to report the matter to Zhou Zhengli as soon as possible. However, just when Pete started the van and was about to leave, the kangaroo appeared again. Fortunately, Xiao Mei reacted quickly. She hurriedly climbed into the van so that the kangaroo did not succeed in the sneak attack. She reacted and raised her shotgun and fired vertically at the kangaroo that was chasing her. After a bumpy ride for half a day, they finally arrived at the bar at the foot of the mountain. Xiao Mei learned from the clerk that when they went down the mountain, the clerk had reported the kangaroo incident to Zhou Zhengli. The government said that professional personnel had been sent to deal with it, but it would probably take days. It was not until dawn that they arrived. Because they were worried that the kangaroos would follow them down the mountain, Xiao Mei suggested that everyone stay in the bar and wait for the support of Zhou's government to arrive before going home. But before she could finish her words, Pete, who was waiting outside, saw the kangaroos appear at the intersection. Hearing Pete's reminder, Xiao Mei asked everyone to quickly use heavy objects to lure the door. However, when everyone was busy, a siren suddenly sounded outside the house. Xiao Mei leaned over and saw that it was her colleague John. It turned out that John was on duty nearby. After receiving the notice from Zhou's government, he rushed to the town as soon as possible. Seeing John getting out of the car, Xiao Mei in the house wanted to remind him, but the kangaroo had already moved away in advance. After two half barking, the unlucky John turned into half east and half west, looking at old John on the ground. The guests in the bar were stunned. This was not a kangaroo at all, but a ruthless killing machine. However, before everyone in the bar could come to their senses, the kangaroos attacked the bar. Fortunately, Xiao Mei and her friends had made preparations in advance. The door was blocked by many objects and the kangaroos could not get in. Considering safety, Xiao Mei asked the customers to hide in the basement of the bar first. However, as soon as everyone sat down, the door opened. The kangaroo began to shake. Seeing this, Xiao Mei and Pete wanted to block it. But they just came over and the door was knocked open. Xiao Mei and Pete were stunned to see the 2-meter-tall kangaroo. Xiao Mei, who had reacted, hid in a corner. Fortunately, the kangaroo's eyesight was poor, and the three of them were not discovered. But the kangaroo that didn't find its prey actually wandered around in the bar. Seeing the kangaroo walking towards the basement, Xiao Mei felt that she couldn't just sit there and wait for death. Xiao Mei took out a wooden stick from the cabinet and motioned Pete to throw it to the opposite side. Pete borrowed the stick and threw it. Xiao Mei, who was hiding in the corner, hurriedly pulled out her pistol while the kangaroo was attracted. She emptied the magazine at the kangaroo's head. However, even though its head was shot into a hornet's nest, the sturdy kangaroo was not dead yet. Just when the kangaroo was about to attack Xiao Mei, the thorn hiding on the other side hurriedly rang the bell on the platform. Pete, who was hiding on this side, hurriedly picked up the axe on the wall. She threw the axe to Xiao Mei on the opposite side. She kicked the ferocious kangaroo twice and cut it into pieces. At the end of the story, the support of the state government came belatedly.